What is up? My name is Digital Hourglass. Since PR's release and since ever, I've gotten a lot of questions about everything. So you guys have the questions, I got the questions right here, and I'll try my best to give a proper answer. There were a lot of comments in this community post that I put out a while ago that had a lot of mixed questions, so I'll try and give my best answer to each of them, and I'll put them in layman's terms. No, I'm joking. So let me start out with member questions. Surprisingly, I only got 3 members that asked some questions on my community post by the day of the completion. If you're a channel member and put a comment down on the community post that I did not get to, I'm really sorry. But to all those members out there, I love y'all. Thank you so much for y'all's support. Let me get to the questions. So first, MooneyLuna5 asks, will there be any more exoplanets in the PR series? I've actually thought about that, and for PR4, I was originally thinking about adding some other like exoplanets for some extra songs like N.I. Posha, The Water World, and Ogle 2005 BLG 390LB, the really cold one. And there's also like probably some other ones, Kelt 9B, the hottest one. But you know, there were probably gonna be too many, but I've always been thinking about doing some extra parts that have just some like extra, I mean, not some extra parts, but like, you know, just some like extra things that include some more exoplanets, you know, that might come out, so stay tuned. Next we have Berserk 308. Before I answer your questions, Berserk, you know you're in my server, right? Why didn't you ask me any of these questions in my server? Or even just message me? Just something to think about. Anyway, he says, hey Digi, I have a bunch of questions, so let's start. Number 1, how are you? I'm doing mighty fine today. Number 2, how and when your passion about astronomy and astrophysics born? I must say, Berserk, your English is definitely improving. Basically, I don't really know when my love of planets started, but like I know when I was young, I loved like collecting. I used to love like those rubber spheres that had like those little swirly colors on them, and like you throw them against the ground and they go up into the air. So and planets are around like those rubber spheres. I don't really know for sure, but that might have been one of the causes. But I did watch a lot of videos on YouTube about those early like solar system educational videos and a lot of those size comparison videos. I got a whole playlist on that on my channel. A lot of the cartoons I watched when I was like really young, like a little itty bitty, they had a lot of like episodes about like planets and stars and stuff, and like Blue's Clues and stuff, Bubble Guppies. But yeah, that was probably the main one, and I just started watching more and more, and now. Number 3, what's your first draws that you ever made about solar system on paper and on Krita 2? On paper, that's probably impossible to track. I've probably made like, thousands, probably not thousands, but actually probably, yeah, thousands of little solar system drawings throughout my little toddlerhood when I was like waddling around.
Whoa. That's a lot.
So yeah, I do not have a definitive answer on when I drew on paper like a whole bunch of solar systems and stuff, but I know I was drawing a lot of them when I was 3. But on Krita, the first things I drew on Krita, I'm pretty sure were planets, and they look rather goofy. If I find them, I'll put them up on the screen right now. They're wee. Number 4. What's the first FNF mod that you've ever played? That's kind of a hard question, because the first kind of like FNF mod I played was Versus Witty, because Roblox was probably the first time I actually like played FNF, because like I never knew of any online or knew if I was allowed to download FNF mods. There was this little Roblox game, I'm pretty sure it was called literally FNF, with this picture of the boyfriend on the toilet. It was probably the first one I've ever played before knowing about Funky Friday or Friday Night Bloxin. It had the main game FNF songs from week 1 to 7, and also some Versus Witty songs, and it was only multiplayer, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, it might have some single player versions, but that was the first time I've ever played, so I'm pretty sure Versus Witty was the first one I've ever played. But real mods, like having actual content, I'm pretty sure was also Versus Witty, because there's this little website called Snow Keto. It's got a whole bunch of these like kid games. I'm pretty sure I've never played any other ones apart from FNF ones. Witty was the first one on the little sub list of mods, so that's probably the first one I've ever played.
Number 5. Will you ever remake the Digimod? If yes, how? Versus Digi, if you didn't know, was my very first FNF mod where I was learning the ropes of modding.
3, 2, 1.
It's very crusty. I do plan on remaking it though, sometime. I have no idea when, but I might do it eventually. And the how part of this question? Psych engine. Number 6. What do you think about other people making and publishing their own planet mods? Are you happy about this or not? I think it's pretty cool that people are taking interest in my stuff and getting inspired about it and being encouraged to make their own things. I think it's really cool because, you know, I reach out to so many different people and they really like my ideas, so I think that's really cool. I'm happy with that. Number 7. Okay, yeah, I was making sure that was 7. Have you ever thought about making a second mod that in the future will be related with Pluto's Appraisal and or the Plutoverse? PR5. Now, I want to give a little spoiler. A lot of the questions on here are related with PR5 and what's beyond PR4. I'm just gonna, I'll get to those. I'll get to those in a bit, so stay tuned. And also make sure to keep sticking around to the end because you never know if I actually answer your question or not. And also if what I'm answering is something you just now thought of. So make sure to stay tuned. Number 8. How can you describe your motivations to make possible projects like Pluto's Appraisal? You be quiet. I'm not really sure. Like, sometimes it's just kind of, sometimes some days I get filled with the energy to do things. There you go. I don't know why I get motivated, it just happens. Number 9. Would you make the tutorials of FL Studio? I'm running out of ideas. You know what? For you, Berserk, I'll do it. No, but seriously, there's plenty of good FL Studio tutorials on YouTube, online, and everywhere. And FL Studio, their own website, has some cool FL Studio tutorials. FL Guru or something like that person. But there's way too much of FL Studio for me to cover, and I haven't even discovered all there is yet to FL Studio, so I'm not legally qualified to make an FL Studio tutorial video. Number 10. And finally, does the new planet's design will appear in the PR shorts too? The new PR planet designs in PR4 are pretty complicated and will probably take too long for Krita to let me animate because going in between frames, like with the masks and all that stuff, it takes a while for those frames to properly render. And plus there's just too many elements of the planets and like the shading, the blurring and stuff, that's too much. Animating with the PR 1 through 3 style, that's way easier. Hope you will read at least one of these. Have a nice day. BK3U8. You too, man. Last, but most definitely not least, number block span 123. I have a lot of questions. Number 1, can you do a short about Taiki, Planet 10, and Planet 9? I haven't actually thought about that. That might be something that actually will be something that I'll keep in mind. Thank you. Number 2, will Pluto's Appraisal Part 2 ever get dialogue? Yes, that is one of the main priorities of going back and uploading, oh my gosh, of updating the previous parts, is giving Part 2 dialogue. Because only Brian, Second Chance, and Nexus have dialogue, and that's pretty lame. Number 3, why didn't you make Imitations and Stronger OST? For Imitations, it's just a bunch of planet sounds. And Stronger, it's not even my song, it's a cover. Number 4, will the other exoplanets WASP-12b, TRIS-2b, Methuselah, Kepler 452b, Kepler 6025b, Kepler 1625bi get official designs? I've actually already made official designs for the TRAPPIST-1 system, and I'll show that right here, right now. And there is a high chance that I will do a lot more official exoplanet designs. 5, why did you make memberships? I just wanted an extra thing where my viewers and subscribers could support me more if they really wanted to, and I'm surprised that I already have so many supporting members that I already have. There's like, pretty sure there's 14. The number's always changing. But again, thank you all so much for having memberships. 6, do you watch Solar Balls? Yes. And to make it clear, PR is not Solar Balls. I don't know why this took me 2 takes to do, but I had a laughing fit. Number 7. That's 6.5. Who is your favorite PR character, including the TRAPPIST-1 planets? Mine is Neptune. Oh.
Why did we come here?
Pluto. Number 8. Why isn't Dima in the Kata background? I'm sure I mastered that name perfectly. I did not.
What did he say?
There really was no reason, I just didn't include it. There's only so many TNOs that I can fit in the background and have patience to animate in 2 different songs. If your favorite little Kibiwano or little scatter disk object doesn't make it in, I'm sorry. Number 9. Why are you called Digital Hourglass? Well, it was really like just some random thing that happened, but I found out that my initials kind of look like an hourglass, and I like digital stuff. Digital hourglass. Number 10. Why does Pluto and Titan eyes look like planet balls? Because they're white. Their eyes are white, purely white. Number 11. I don't have 11 fingers. Why are all the eyes are different? Well, so see, basically, all the characters need a unique eye design. Luna Proteus. I don't know what that was about, but basically, it's to more easily differentiate all the characters if their eyes are separated from the character. Number 12. I don't have 12 fingers either. Why is J1407B the wrong size? Nobody actually has a proper size estimate for J1407B. I took an average of some different J1407B planet measurements, which were actually pretty hard to find. And it's just a rough estimate. We don't actually have a proper measurement of its size. Number 13. Will Terraclo, Chiron, and Fifth Giant get songs? Maybe. Charon, oh my gosh. Terraclo and Chiron actually already had, actually no, Chiron didn't. Terraclo was originally going to be in a planned song, but funny story, all of PR was originally going to be included in one giant mod that would have released at a single time. Now, I would not be able to release that. It would have taken like more than a year, like 2 years, because there's so much content in it. There was a whole bunch of stuff, and if I didn't split those up, it would have never come out. So that's my tip. If you want to make a mod, please don't go over like 20 songs for your first mod because you think it would be cool. That's gonna take too much time. You're gonna lose motivation, trust me. But yeah, back to the question. Terraclo and Chiron, there is a high chance. If I include Terraclo, I will include Chiron. Number 14. Why did you hide the beta dwarf planet designs in the Pluto's Reprisal V2 files? Well, those are kind of just left over. I never really intended to hide them, but you know, they're just there. I actually made the dwarf planet's icons long before I actually published part 1, so those have been there since ancient times. And finally, 15. What is the Plutoverse? Is it different versions of Pluto, like Object Cosmos Pluto, TUS Pluto, ACS Pluto? But yeah, the Plutoverse, I included the Plutoverse past PR4 because that allowed me to include things that would not fit in the storyline of PR 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I just opened that up for anything that I wanted to include in there that did not fit in the main storyline. Mainly, yeah, like Varinos and Berserk and all those little sillies. And your suggestions! So thank you, all my wonderful members. Thank you very much for your support and for your questions. So moving on to general YouTube channel questions. First, from Sean Roulette 2023. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm no longer a member. It lasts for 1 month. It's all right, man. As long as I know that you really want to support me that much by becoming a YouTube member, that means all the more to me. Thank you for even being a member in the first place. Next is Matthias Board Chart 1057. Bonus one. Do you know about Moldy? A Moldy with Purple Planet OC. If yes, have you watched his PR remixes? Yes, he's in my server. He's a pretty cool guy, and I have watched his remixes. They are really cool, and also he makes really cool art. Next is Cruz or Krish or whatever. Hello Digi, some questions me having. Number 1, how did you find out about Krita? I was looking for some really advanced free art programs, and I stumbled across Krita, which is awesome. Number 2, what got you into FNF? I'm really not sure, but I do know that in the early days of FNF, I've seen occasional videos on YouTube about FNF. I was so confused as to what it was. I watched some videos on it, and I was like, that sounds cool. I kind of want to play that. And then I got to literally FNF, that little Roblox game, and then it all started from there. Number 3, what inspired you to work on PR? Well, as you know, I really, really love space. When I was well into FNF, I realized that there was no FNF mods about the solar system. I took advantage of that, made PR. Number 4, what do you think of my Solar System Song V2 remake? You are really skilled at Blender. You're seriously really skilled at Blender. Your work is really cool. I really like it. Number 5, which PR spinoff for a Solar System song took you the most time? Now, there's probably an obvious answer to this. It's the one by Stephen P. Wink. It's like literally 7 minutes long. That's all I have. Thank you, Krish. Next is Waffle Addicted Cato. I'm making a Solar System song that includes references to the NEOs and other minor satellite. Would you make icons and voices for Eros and Nareed, for example, if you made a cover of my song? There's a chance. I'm mainly covering well-known and popular Solar System songs,
But you know, there's also a high chance that I would include member Solar System songs to promote their content. But, and you're concerned for Eros and Nareed, if I do Eros and Nareed, I might as well do all of them. Next is the DJ Man. Number 1, the covers are amazing. Will you do more? Yes. My current eyes for next covers are the ones by the Twinkle Trail, Planet Custard, and the Pancake Manor. Number 2, I wonder what will be next for PR. PR5. I promise I'll elaborate on that later. Next is Martian Moon number 1. Why are you making custom icons for the covers now? Is this a teaser for something? Is it for fun, or can you not say? I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be really funny, and just making the other planet icons in different styles is pretty cool to me. Did Jupiter have a temporary mouth after the Shoemaker Levy 9 impact? No, imagine getting shot by a bullet. That's what it's like. Next is AXOV. When are you gonna collab with another FNF Planet Ball creator? Okay, I'm not sure if you're asking me if I'm a Planet Ball creator or if Veranos Revenge and TVKS are also Planet Ball creators. It's probably not likely that I'm going to collaborate with any actual Planet Ball creators like Doge Pro or someone like that. There's also a really low chance that I'm gonna be collabing with Solar Balls, which is borderline Planet Balls. But PR5. Next, Arid Funkin. Will there be a comprehensive tutorial on how to animate PR characters? Yes! I've been thinking about doing that for a long time, but for some reason, I never have. But with the introduction of PR4, there's probably going to be 2 different versions of that tutorial. Next is Some Nerd. Number 1, can you get to India through North America? How about that Chinese spy balloon? But yes, if you dig all the way through the mantle, you can dig from India to North America. Number 2, steal the spice trade. I'm not British, I'm not doing that. Next is Lady Rainbow Pink Girl. Pluto's Reprisal Part 5, the Solar System Back Return Look Star Game Cover Rap starts. Yeah. Next, Tavy and the Jelly. Number 1, how did you decide on the PR style with like the disconnected hands and no mouths? Well, I kind of wanted to keep the main FNF style. Not really sure how that ended up with me making it with no mouths and hands. I genuinely have no idea how I came up with that style. Sorry, I don't have an answer to that. Number 2, what do you like outside of space and astronomy? Gaming, geography, art, music, kind of physics, chemistry. Number 3, how do you feel about PR's popularity? You know, there's just enough popularity to where people are liking it and people don't know that they're liking it, and that's cool. It frees Pluto's Reprisal from the mostly toxic FNF community. Number 4, what color is your toothbrush? It's black with silver accents, made by Atmoko. Next comes This Name Is Already Taken. Have you thought of making a PR animated series? Dude. No, but seriously though, I wanted to see, I was kind of dabbling in animation, like actual animation for a little bit, and I wanted to see how receptive you viewers were to PR animated shorts, to see if I could actually be successful without FNF. And the outcome was mostly positive, so I might actually start getting into proper animations. Next comes Zarin Bruh. What motivated you to make this beautiful channel of yours? Mostly there were these 2 guys, DanceDM and EvanTube HD. They were really cool. I used to watch them a lot, and I still occasionally watch DanceDM. But you know, I also really like space, and I decided I wanted that to be the main focus of my channel. Next comes Bruh. I don't know. Have you ever seen fan-made PR Pluto's Reprisal characters? Yes. Some are nice. I agree. Another cue. Where did you get the idea of Pluto's Reprisal? I really like space. I was into FNF at the time. Nobody was making space mods. I took advantage of it. Also, what do you use to draw? And have you ever drawn with something else? I mainly use Creator right now. I actually completely use Creator right now. I don't draw with anything else. I used to draw with MS Paint. It was pretty cool, but like, you know, it was all pixely and weird, and Creator has a lot of cool brushes and actual pressure sensitivity. I also used to use a mouse, and then I upgraded to this dinky little pen tablet, but it was still a pen tablet. But now I use a bigger screen, a display tablet now that's Vike, or how you say it, Vike. Next is Chessburger. I have a couple. Which PR character was the easiest, hardest to animate? Now, there was no easiest or hardest character to animate, but I do have some candidates for some of them. For the easiest characters to animate, there are these little guys, the little asteroids, like MK2, Hiyaka, Namaka, all those silly little guys. They had like 3 layers. They had like the body, the eyes, and the hands on 1 layer. They had 2 frames per pose. And the hardest to animate, that's kind of a tough question. Dr. Oid in Faction was kind of complicated to make because I have the actual model in Roblox Studio. I ported it over to Krita to animate, and I had to take multiple screenshots from Roblox Studio from multiple different angles to get the poses. And I also did some little lighting on it, some little edge frame. There's also Karat 7B. He has these little glowing lava spots, which aren't affected by the little shadows. And plus he's got that entire animation of his
ice eye breaking. AB, he was rather complex to think about animating first, but once I actually got into it, wasn't that hard. Orby-T was not actually that hard as you may think. I have this Orby-T texture of all the little fancy lines and stuff. I put that into this fancy little website called Map to Globe. It takes a map, turns it into a globe. I took little screenshots of that, put it into Krita, made a little metal ball, and made the little lines glow, and turned it multiple different angles like I did with Dr. Oid. If you were to go back to speed paint videos, would they be the old OG style or the PR style? Either choice is fine to me. If you're talking about like the exoplanet speed paints, I would probably stay with more realistic style because, you know, it's kind of, that's the whole point. But I have planned on making a giant like PR speed paint video. That would be pretty cool to make with all the characters and stuff in it. So for PR Season 2, this is going to be a major spoiler for all of you guys. And a lot of people in my server are going to be angry about this. Now, if you don't want spoilers for PR Season 2, just go and skip ahead. If you do, here you go. It's been so secretive, and PR Season 2 will be put off for so long that I might as well just come out and spill the beans about the current plans. What I currently have in mind about Season 2, it's gonna be mainly focused on Dr. Oid. He may have a change in heart, I'm just gonna leave it at that, and it also will be a major collaboration between members of my Discord server. And nothing is set in stone yet, but I might as well just share it with all of you guys. First up, from Cross. Can you make a PR5? It's yes. Could it be versus other universes? It's not versus other universes in a way you may think, but it's just versus other PR spin-off universes like TBKS or VR. There most likely will be a PR5. Next is Anna Christina KC3NN. When will Dr. Oid learn his lesson and reunite with Pluto? Dr. Oid has never united with Pluto, but there has been some thought about Dr. Oid teaming up with Pluto to defeat a black hole that is threatening the solar system, but that was just some far-off thought that might not actually be a thing because Dr. Oid does not care about the solar system. All he cares is about taking over solar systems. Next is Kep 452. Will the PR5 is planets versus more exoplanets? Technically, it would be versus other exoplanets, but it would most likely be with PR spin-off mod characters, which are technically exoplanets. But there might be a chance of more exoplanets being featured. Next is from Abraham Gaming. Will you make a vid about imitations? And when is PR5 coming out? Imitations, since so many people are asking, I might eventually make a video on it. And in lieu of your question about PR5, there is no determined release date, but it will begin production sometime next year. Next, from Legendary Universe. Will Planet 9 have a super form? Judging how the 8 planets in the solar system and Pluto have super forms, it's rather likely that Planet 9 does actually have a super form. We just haven't seen it yet. Next, from Grace the Real XD. Okay, how's Neptune has a mouth? And Uranus really eat the glass? Just only of this. Neptune just has a mouth because he's built different, and Uranus really does eat the glass. He just likes glass. Next is Local Idiot Detected. If we can get a sneak peek of PR5, can we have an idea of what the theme will be? PR5 is mainly going to be a collaborative effort between multiple different PR spin-off creators and me, like TBKS, VR, EM, and any other people that may be interested. And also your suggestions! Next, Lucenzo Franco Benjerano has 5 questions. Number 1, can you do a narrator or dad face reveal? No thanks. Number 2, can you make the other 55 Kankai planets? The main exoplanets that are featured in PR4's systems will most likely get official designs. Number 3, can part 5 be even more exoplanets and the exoplanets from rounds 1-2 help us wrap the others? HD 10546b would wrap a star. The way you're thinking about exoplanets teaming up with the planets is really unlikely. But in a way, there will be more exoplanets. Number 4, any more shorts you doing? Yes, there is currently a short in development about some little asteroids. Number 5, why do celestial objects not have mouths? This is assuming that all celestial objects don't have mouths, which is not true. Neptune, as observed, has a mouth, and planets that do have mouths are just built different. Next up, Silly Goober has 6 questions. McNutt has so much to ask. Number 1, where did Orby-T come from? The android race slowly built Orby-T up over millennia to harvest stars' energy so they can grow bigger. Number 3, how did the bongos gain sentience? There is no known reason why the bongos are sentient, but Saturn did grow them out of rocks and debris material, and then somehow they came alive. Number 4, what's the difference with hacking and hijacking? They're basically the same, they're used interchangeably. Like when Dr. Oid hacks and hijacks the moon, that's the same thing. Number 5, is Thea a part of Earth's subconscious?
This goes back to me saying fifth giant is unscriptural. Thea is also unscriptural and does not mesh well with the Bible either. And since I'm a Christian, Thea is not canonically part of PR. Number 6, me IRL asking this part. Not in character because, well, what did McNaught say in Tattletale? One of my favorite songs ever. I do actually have a sticky note of what McNaught kind of said to Pluto, and that's how I reacted to them with Pluto's voice lines. I don't exactly remember what was on that sticky note, and I'm not sure where that went, but I know some of them were about Dr. Oi coming in with its exoplanets to take over the solar system. McNaught's gonna be super duper happy if Digi enters. You're welcome, McNaught. Next comes Thunboy. Can you make Pluto's Reprisal Part 5 stars, please? Stars are not really unique enough to have their own part, because they're all just glowing colored balls.